siblings. In this video, I will be discussing sort of the status of the channel, things that I aspire to do for this year, since this is being recorded in January of 2025. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Basically, I'm going to do, well, I mean, also do some crinkling triggers, and I will try to throw in some whispers. You know, I'll try to remember to do a little bit of, the back and forth, left and right. Wait a minute, I think this is actually left, even though it's my right? Sometimes I forget that nonsense. So yeah, I'll be doing some whispers. But it's probably mostly going to be soft spoken. Just because, it's easier for me to manage. So we'll be doing some soft spoken. Okay. So, the annual report. This is a bit obscure. In my mind, the annual report is a reference to a specific band from the 70s. If you need a clue, think industrial. But remember, from the 70s. Anyway, also, I'm going to start doing is announcing the fact that, watch to the end for the secret word, right? That's, some crass self-promotion, right, to get you guys to watch all the way to the end, because YouTube likes that. Also, let's see, I should do the normal. So, do the like, right? Do the subscribe. Let's see, which way is that? That's on the screen's right, so my left, so I guess it's down there, right? You click that little thing. I think it's a kind of icon of my face. I think that'll take you to the subscription thing, or just subscribe you. I don't remember how it works. Also, comment. I read all the comments. Well, I read all the comments, but I only really respond to positive comments or constructive criticism. You can go ahead and say mean things, but I'll just kind of and blow you off, frankly. What else with all the... Did I say share? Sharing is really important. You can also... I'm going to try to remember to put in my Facebook and Instagram, right? I mean, all us content creators. I mean, I'm trying to get better at this whole game of, do the, the online thing. Okay, so first things first. You know what? Let me get the crinkly stuff going, because I'll be doing that while I'm talking about stuff. So, essentially, I've got a bag of stuff that, I'm recycling. So I've got some bags that stuff came in, packaging, that kind of thing. So what do I want to start with? Okay, one of them you guys will be familiar with. This is the small bubble wrap, which I frequently use as a trigger on the live stream. So I'm doing a little back and forth with that. So I guess now, since I've mentioned the live stream, I guess I should give you the details. It's every Saturday night. 8 p.m. Pacific time. So, Pacific West Coast of the U.S., right? So, I think that's, right now it's Pacific Standard Time, in January. But it's UTC -8. And as I said, those are every Saturday, so come join in the fun. I usually play some game, Sokoban or Codemaster, Octortle. those are kind of the ones I mostly play on the live stream. Although I'm gonna add a new one, and it's one I haven't played yet. It looks like it's an interesting game, but I think I'm going to try and learn it on the live stream. So I'm going to announce it and see what happens on, that would be, what do I mean, look at the calendar. January. I think it's, let's see, oh, wait a minute. I just looked at the calendar, but let me look at the one that actually has this stuff on it. Yeah, it's the 18th. Well, I don't know why I couldn't. Yeah, anyway, sometimes for a smart guy, I do silly, stupid things sometimes, you know what I mean? Now, having said that, just because we do stupid things now and again, that doesn't mean we are stupid in a permanent sense, right? That's a bit of a kind of getting my head to be in a better headspace, right? You know, so don't run yourself down when you do something silly or stupid. Just acknowledge, oh man, that was kind of stupid. But then realize it was just something that you did, right? Doesn't mean you're permanently stupid. It just means that you did something stupid, you know. You know, if you have to, make an apology, but otherwise, oh well, I screwed up. It's most likely not the end of the world. Okay, I think I've done all the crass, like, subscribe, all that stuff. So what's next? I'm going to go look at my list. I have a list that I made for myself. Let me open that thing up. So I've been trying to establish sort of a set of videos, or maybe I should say video categories. Yeah, I'm going to switch to another crinkly thing. So here's the small bubble wrap. I guess I'll just set it here. Oh, one of them's not so crinkly, but more rustly. But this one is crinkly. So this is, well, it's for a snack bar, but I'm not going to be showing the label any more than I just did because I'm not interested in, you know, doing some kind of weird promotion for them. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, but it's the kind of foily interior, right? Metallicized plastic film, right? Which is it. I don't know, maybe I should learn to make these types of things rather than buy them. But I'm lazy, and so sometimes I go for the convenience. It's one of those things. I don't like eating overly processed foods, right? I mean, I know I eat like peanut butter and stuff like that that's processed, but I don't like eating, you know, prefab meals out of cans and like, you know, well, yeah, I don't even really eat soup anymore out of a can. Right? I think it's better to eat stuff that you make out of ingredients than, you know, and I'm not perfect, obviously, but I try to eat a decent diet, so. Anyway, here's a recycled bit of stuff that I can make a crinkly sound with. I quite like this crinkly sound. It's sort of a different pitch range than the small bubble wrap. Anyway, so back to the annual report. So, I have a bunch of categories that I'm going to try and do a video per category in sort of a cycle. So it's roughly going to work out that these things will be once a month. Because I'm going to try to stick to the every 3 days I'll do a video. Quick aside before I get to the categories. That's from me looking at the analytics, and when I post a video, publish it or whatever it is, my views go up, kind of the curve on the analytics thing looks, hey, it's going up. But after a couple of days, it starts to dive again. So I've been thinking that what I should do is just, if I do that every 3 days, it's like it goes up and then it starts to go down. But if I do the video, it catches it and it keeps it from diving too far down and sometimes even continues the upwards trend. So I'm thinking that that is in fact, what I'm going to keep trying to do, see how that plays out. Okay, so on to the categories. So there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I guess, if I'm counting that correctly. It's kind of, I have to look over there and, whatever, my eyes aren't so great, so I think I've 1, 2, 3, like that, yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, I think it's 9. So these aren't in necessarily the order that they will be published in. And even though it's 9 categories, there's going to be 10 things. So, but I'll get to that as we go. So I'm going to try and do an NSBB video. And for those of you who haven't been subscribed or been watching my videos for long enough to know that an NSBB was inspired by a phrase from a Hendrix song. That's the song Are You Experienced? And the line is, not necessarily stoned, but beautiful. I do those as, it's sort of like, I invented it for myself as a rating system. Because early on in the channel's life, I was making a few sort of, I guess, trippy videos, because I quite like that kind of thing. And some people complained that it's too weird. Well, I mean, I guess I'm, maybe for some people's estimations, just too weird. But anyway, so an NSBB is intended. So if you don't like the weird, trippy things like with maybe delays and echoes and, heavy-handed layering, then, you should probably avoid the NSBB. Okay, the next category is cards and backgammon. So I will do, like solitaire or, playing myself where I play both sides of the backgammon board. I guess that's it, really. I just, I'm going to play those things, so, so that, you'll get, and I'll alternate, right? So it'll probably be like, me playing solitaire. I might play some other sort of, like I did blackjack once. I don't know whether I'll do that again or not. I might, because I suck at blackjack, frankly. I mean, in a sense, I remember some of the, the guidelines, and, I suppose I could learn to like count cards and kind of consider the odds more effectively, but I'm just too lazy. So, but it's clearly it's not. I don't need to play it well for it to be an effective ASMR video, do I? I just have to, kind of do it and talk through what I'm doing. And, one thing I want to try to get better at is, well, I need to start with this video, trying to be a little slower and mix up the soft spoken with a bit more whisper. But anyway, in the cards and backgammon, I want to be slow and let the clicks of the checkers and the pieces against the felt, and of the dice and with the cards. I'm going to try and figure out a way of kind of, when I'm in post, dealing with the noise of the shuffling of the cards. And that kind of thing, So, just trying to get better at those things. Anyway, so the next category, since I'm going to I think I'll alternate the crinkly things as I change categories, and I'll just, go through it that way. See, I started speaking fast again, didn't I? So let's slow it down, but I'll slow down the crinkles a little bit too. Okay. I'm gonna get the next one. So this is just an empty bread wrapper. I quite like this too. Very, very crinkling, and again, different sort of pitch range, right? It looks like on the audio meters for OBS that it's at least showing up louder on the meters, so I'll find out in post exactly how loud. And that's another thing. I'm much better at recording music and mixing that. And again, not that I'm great at it, but I did have some experience with that nonsense, having been in bands and stuff. So I feel more confident in that. But it's difficult to adapt the skill set to doing ASMR because typically when you're recording music, all of the program material is much louder, and you're trying to actually ride the mic and the gain to get, basically as strong a signal as you can get without peaking too badly, because you don't want clipping. And it's also best to leave some headroom for when you're, doing your final mix and kind of the mastering thing, although I'm not really good at the mastering thing yet, but I will get there. You're supposed to leave yourself some headroom, which basically means between the peak of your program signal to whatever it is, the system you're using. You don't want to get into clipping. And I try to take the same approach with ASMR, but sometimes I have to drive the gain on the mic to get it to work well, and then it starts revealing some of the internal noise of the mic, as well as the kind of weird, like every room you're in is not silent. There's like ambient noise and, little other things, like maybe, like I've got a fridge over there. I try to remember to, click it off, which I forgot to do today, so hopefully it won't pop in and get too loud, but and then there's just lots of other stuff that makes little hums and, little noises, because, whatever, no room is silent, so. Anyway, so the mics pick that up. And these are pretty decent mics, but I have the aspiration of getting some, I would love to get the AKG, that's what the brand of these is, AKG. A long time ago, I kind of, worked in a recording studio and I was basically an intern, but I also did stuff with, I built the patch bay for the studio and stuff like that, because I know how to solder, basically. I don't know about it anymore, but I used to be really, really good at soldering stuff, and just putting things together, and, one time when I lived in this warehouse, I did some work for the landlord. Among those, I built the intercom system between. It was a huge warehouse with a bunch of lofts inside of it. And it was actually 3 connected warehouses, but was it 4 connected warehouses? Anyway, so I built the intercom that worked between all the lofts and also the front gate. So didn't have a security buzzer, but you could, buzz into the appropriate unit and say, hey, I'm out here, could you come let me in? So it was in kind of a crappy part of West Oakland, so yeah, anyway. Why am I babbling about that now? Oh, because I was talking about recording and stuff. Anyway, AKG makes a mic called the 414, and it's, well, actually surprisingly reasonably priced for, the quality of mic it is, but it's like, these mics are about $200 each, and I think the 414 is about $1,200 each, something like that. Anyway, there's another mic. I don't remember the brand name right now off the top of my head, but I've made a note of it somewhere. And it's I think it's only about $300 each, but it has a really, really good low internal noise and high dynamic range, and it's getting into the range of what the 414 can do. So I was thinking, it's not quite that good, but it's also much, much cheaper. So, anyways, I'm hoping to get, as I make, well, as the channel becomes more successful, I will upgrade, equipment and the such. Anyway, that's enough babbling about, tech stuff. I'll probably talk a little bit more about that later, but anyway. So the next category will be sequences. And the sequences are like when I do countdowns or word lists and, like that kind of thing. And there's probably going to be repeats of those. Like I think I just did one recently that was like a countdown from, was it 500 or, I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't 500. But, I'll probably just do that again. I mean, because they'll all turn out different, and I'll probably make little subtle changes, like, maybe, have two voices, or three, some milder layering, so I'm not quite into the NNSBB range, but, yeah, so word list, countdowns, that kind of thing. Yeah, I guess that's it for sequences, so let's move on to the next category and the next crinkly thing. Oops. Trying to keep it at easy reach distance so that I can kind of cycle through these as I go through the categories and other stuff. Okay. This is just a bit of packing material. Well, I mean, so is the bubble wrap too, right? But it's less crinkly and more rustly, but I really, really like it. And it's kind of a similar enough, I don't know, I think it fits in the category of, crinkliness, Anyway. See, it's this kind of foam stuff. Let's slow down, though. I think rustling sounds better slower. See, I quite like that. Let me know in the comments if you like the rustling thing. I mean, the other ones, whether you like them or not, I like them, so I'm going to put them in. But, this one I like, but if you guys don't, that's fine. I don't mind leaving it out. Oh, I'm going to go on another tangent because, I do that sort of thing, don't I? I often get the comment of that I should just make what I want to make rather than always asking you guys what you like kind of thing. But here's the thing. Everything I make is something I want to make. The thing is that the amount of things that I kind of want to make, or not kind of, but the things that I want to make is bigger than the things I'll ever get to making. You know what I mean? So I figure, well, I should do a subset of the things that I want to make and kind of pick and choose the things that you guys will like best out of the stuff that I want to make. And there's going to be some things that I will just do, regardless of whether you guys like them or not. You know, sorry, but like NNSBB, I make those because I like that kind of stuff, and I know that there's other people who similarly like that stuff. I mean, they're not the most popular, but you know, it doesn't matter. Even if nobody likes them, I'm going to make them because I like making them and I like the results. So, sort of me going, ooh, look at this thing. It's kind of a show and tell of stuff I like to make, I suppose. But anyway, so yeah, you know, but you know, don't worry. You can feel free to make whatever comment or, like I said, constructive criticism is fine. You know, that helps me make the channel be a better thing, right? Anyway, we did sequences. Oh, okay. Since I'm doing this, I'm going to put this in the category of crinkly stuff when I do crinkly stuff. But the next category is triggers, which will be, you know, this I guess suppose will count as a trigger video of sorts. So there's going to be 2 trigger videos, I guess, this month, because there's one coming up. I think it'll happen in January. Maybe it's not going to happen until February. But anyway, there's going to be another trigger video coming reasonably soon. And that's just going to be like, some of them might be trigger samples where I just do a variety of stuff, very similar to what I do for parts of the live stream. But other times I will do it like this, where it's going to be, you know, crinkly. And then I'll do some that are just brushing, and I'll do some that are just tapping. I'm also going to do some that are the jar, which if you want to know what the jar is, you need to go to the live stream or wait till I make one. But that's another one I quite like, the jar noise, so, you know, yeah. Anyway, is that enough about triggers? Yeah, I think everybody gets the idea of triggers, right? And I'll probably come up with some other ones in the future that, you know. And if you have suggestions for triggers, I don't really do requests in the sense that every time somebody requests something that I will do it, but I'm not adverse to you guys making them, and if you make a request and it kind of vibes with stuff I want to make, I will go, oh yeah, you know, that's a good idea, I might do that. I don't really do role plays. I'm not really interested in doing role plays. But who knows, I might dabble into that at some point in the future, but it's not one of the categories right now. So anyway, triggers. Okay, I'm done with triggers, I guess, for the moment, at least talking about it. So let's move to the next crinkly thing. So this is the bag that I put all that other stuff in just to keep it. So this is my Crinkle bag, my Crinkle ASMR bag. And I quite like this one. It's much lower, sort of. I really like this one a lot. Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? Yippee-yi-yay, I really like that. Okay, let me try to get kind of more extremely over here. I should probably do that right now, just bounce back and forth between, but kind of get onto the over here. All right, the next category is reading, and you're likely going to get, well, no, you're not likely, you're going to get 2 reading videos per cycle of going through them. They might be in a row or they might not, I don't know. And these are all going to be kind of randomly ordered, right? So the order in which I'm telling you about them is not necessarily the order that, you know, I will publish them. But reading is always going to be something from Project Gutenberg. Like, that's where I get the Nettie and Becky stories, which is kind of what I'm doing now. I just read a couple of the Nettie and Becky, the bear kids something from Project Gutenberg, please go check out the website. It's really fantastic because it's what it is sort of a repository or library kind of a thing that is public domain books, so you can just go get them for free. And there's everything from history to literature to, whatever, anything that's public domain. They try to, their goal is to get, as much as they can. Because not only is it a good place to go find older published stuff, because, you don't have to read the things that just came out this week, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that, it's worth, still looking into, even though it's old. I mean, clearly there's going to be some stuff there that's problematic because of, past, social conventions are very different from current social conventions. Anyway, so one Project Gutenberg one. And then one that's just kind of anything of my choosing. Currently, I am reading Faust by Goethe in German, which I've had mixed reviews from native German speakers, where some have said that I actually do pretty good as an American. I mean, I have an American accent, obviously, and where others have said, offered me advice on how to improve my pronunciation. So, anyway, let's see, I took a year of German in junior high, 3 years in high school, and 3 semesters in college, and I used to be very proficient. I was close to fluent in speaking it, but I was really good at comprehension, and I could go to foreign films in German and not need subtitles. I can't do that anymore. And when I'm reading Goethe, a lot of times I haven't the slightest idea what it is I'm reading because my vocabulary comprehension is essentially evaporated. But one of the really cool things about the German language is pronunciation rules are extremely consistent. And so the way that words are written, for example, if you see 2 vowels together, like IE or EI, it's always the second vowel as far as, English pronunciation, right? So IE is always said E, and EI is always said I. So there's, things like that. So I remember those rules very well, so I can, for the most part, read through the text and, pronounce things reasonably well, but I'm pretty sure that, that the rhythm of my speech, and so it's probably not, it's probably a bit like a school child who's just learned to read, trying to go through it, you know what I mean? In any case, back to the category. So I will be doing something like that. And it'll go, like Nettie and Becky is fairly whimsical kid stories, but I will end up reading, more serious things now and again too. But be patient because, I'm going to do all of the Nettie and Becky, and I will do all of Faust before I move on to a different set of things. In any case, so in each cycle of publishing these various categories, you'll get 2 reading ones, so roughly 2 reading ones per month. All right, I'm just going to go backwards through the ones and just kind of go back and forth between the crinkle things. So I'm going to go to the next category. And I'm going to go back to the rustling guy. Okay. Okay, after reading, in the list is meditation. So those will be like guided relaxations and, that kind of thing. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Some of those will also kind of veer into the mild NNSBB sort of thing, and if I do that, I'll kind of mark it, you know what I mean? But they won't be super trippy. It'll just be, maybe with some delay and, maybe a little bit of reverb and, that kind of thing. I guess that's, pretty much it. There's really not much to say about those, is there? Okay, I guess that was a short little back into the rustling guy, but I will now move into the next category and go back to the bread wrapper. Okay. Okay. The bread wrapper has returned. So the next category is whispers. So I'm going to try to remember to throw in whispers now and again, on a lot of the videos. But I'm going to do at least one, I guess, that I'll just whisper. Right? So it might be just me whispering, or I might throw in a little bit of, something else just for the, just for the fun of it. But will probably be, and those will be probably me just rambling about stuff. Because I don't know, it just seems to be the easiest thing, and it seems kind of appropriate for whispers to, just sort of ramble on about stuff and just sort of whisper and, try to get, really quiet right into your ear kind of thing, because that's kind of what I like with whispers. I guess I should just be whispering as I'm talking about the whisper category, shouldn't I? And, just get really up close to the mic, trying not to get my beard into the shock mounts, right? Anyway, so whisper, 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 whisper. And some whisper, 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 whisper. Okay, I'm going to move to the next category, and I'm going to go back to the snack bar wrapper. That's really good, isn't it? I mean, I really like all these, frankly. Okay, so after whisper is gameplay. So you guys know what gameplay is about, right? I mean, it's usually Codebreaker, Sokoban, and Octoral. I think those will be the three that I mostly play. I will occasionally throw in the Mahjong thing, which is a desktop Linux game that I play. I will also, maybe I should just make a video. I'll cycle through those in the same way that I do the backgammon and solitaire thing. So let's see, Octoral, Codebreaker, Sokoban. I think I'm going to do another epic Sokoban series where I pick one of those, thousands of move puzzles and, just try to work through it. I mean, I think the last one went pretty well, and I liked making it. I mean, it wasn't the most popular gameplay video, but yeah, you know. Anyway, so there's, I think that's when I'm going to do that. Maybe not the next thing, then soon. Well, soon is relative, isn't it? Because, you know, I'm only doing these things each roughly once a month, so when I say soon, that could still mean several months away. So there's another game, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going to mostly do that on the live stream, so you probably won't see videos for that, but again, a quick plug for the live stream, isn't it? One thing I'm going to do, which I think a lot of you will be happy about, is I found a game for Linux, which is free and kind of open source sort of thing, but it's called Mind Test, and it's an alternative to Minecraft. And I don't think I'm really going to play the game in the sense that it's, you know, well, like a playable game. But it has, if I understand what I've read about it so far, I haven't really tried playing it yet. I just kind of, I've already put it on my computer. I just haven't really opened it and done anything with it yet. And I might save that. You know, I think I will. I think I'll save that and record that so you guys can kind of just see it as I, you know, well, open it for the first time and go, ooh, what's going on here? But I'm pretty sure that it has a mode where I can just build stuff. So I think I really want to do that. I just want to like build, I don't know, like maybe a city or something. And then once it's done, I'll just do several videos where I just wander around and babble about nonsense as I, you know, wander around in it. I'm looking for a game, and if any of you guys know of one that does this, let me know. There's some games out that I've seen that, especially one, I can't remember the name of it, but it plays with the idea of liminal spaces. And a liminal space is like for example, there's a mall near where I live called Bayfair, and it's dying, essentially. So I went there with my father. I guess I think it's been more than a year ago, frankly. And there really wasn't any shops left open in it. And so there was like nobody there, right? So you could be walking down a whole big section of this mall and see no one else. And so when you're in physical spaces like that, there's a psychological thing that happens. And it also works with images of these types of spaces. I don't know if that's a very good explanation completely of a liminal space, but I think it maybe gives you the idea. You can go look it up and see examples of it online. But anyway, I'm hoping to find a game, again, that I don't really want to do gameplay in these types of things as much as I want to construct my own liminal spaces. And, you know, because I think it could be very conducive for ASMR with the appropriate noises and maybe a little bit of delay and that kind of thing. Again, maybe being mildly NNSPB. What else? Oh, Enigma. I'll be playing Enigma. I'll probably be replaying certain levels too, just because I enjoy them. And yeah, well, there you go. You're gonna get to see me, you know, replay certain levels now and again. But I haven't got through anywhere near all of the puzzles, and some of them aren't really suitable for ASMR because they're just too wacky and kind of frenetic, chaotic kind of. I was going to say another thing about gameplay, but I'll come back to that because it also has to do with other categories as well. Anyway, so let's get to the last category and go back to the original small bubble wrap. Anyway, so the last category before I start kind of expanding on some of my other ideas is I call miscellaneous / religion. So it won't always be about religion. Or, I'm not really going to talk about religions like other existing religions. I mean, I might mention them, but it will always be from my perspective. So I'm not going to profess to tell people about a religion and the way they should understand it or approach it or any of that. But I'll probably mention them and talk about them from what I have gleaned from them, from my own personal insight in constructing what I call my religion. I am an atheist, but I consider myself religious. But I'm thinking of religion in sort of a very broad, kind of anthropological manner. Because religion kind of serves the purpose of people trying to understand themselves and their existence in the universe. And also, we're all very curious about how the universe came to be, right? So that, there's all these things that have to do with religion, right? As well as codes of conduct and, that kind of thing. In any case, so, that will be that stuff. And then it'll probably form tangents and other weird things that I'll, want to be talking about. And those will probably just be me talking and really have no other triggers. I'll probably even forget to do whispers in those just because, and there is the risk of me, because, I know that I have the tendency to kind of go off on tangents and forget where I am. And also, I feel like I'm doing it now too. I keep trying to catch myself, but not necessarily speaking so quickly. What else? Oh, okay. What you can expect as far as the way I'm going to record things, so that just to give you, just to kind of, I guess, set your expectations maybe. So in NSBB, the cards and backgammon, sequences and triggers, whispers, will all be always some form of stereo mic setup, so I can do, kind of back and forth, as well as I think, even if I forget to do back and forth in the cards and backgammon, I think it's the best way for me to capture just the sound of what's going on, the clicks of the pieces in backgammon and the cards and that kind of thing, which I think contribute to the ASMR experience. So those will be, all of those ones I just mentioned will be in stereo. Okay, but reading and gameplay will always be lo-fi headset. And my religion will sometimes be one or the other. It'll probably mostly be stereo, but it'll depend on, basically my whim. And, I can always change my mind about any of these, but it just seems to me that that strategy best suits that particular category or style, or whatever you want to say. The other thing is, let's see, okay, I forgot to do it at the beginning of this one, but, trigger warning for those of you who don't like the fact that I'm a left-wing woke guy. My name's Bill, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. So, I won't be doing that in NNSBB. I won't be doing it in sequences. I won't be doing it in reading or meditation or the religion. But, okay, let's go back to where it will be. In gameplay, always. and some of the other ones, let me go back in NSB now. I probably will in cards and backgammon. Yeah, I will do that in cards and backgammon. I might do it in triggers, actually. But always in gameplay. Mostly, it's not that, that I'm, that I have some, I don't know, I think I've made clear my stance on this, but I just think from an aesthetic standpoint, like a lot of times in NNSB and the sequences, meditations, that kind of thing, I don't really do much of an intro, right? I just jump right into the material. It's same thing with the reading, right? I'm just going to just start with the story, you know what I mean? I don't even really do much but say the title and maybe the author or something like that at the beginning of those, and then just jump right into it, because I think it suits the material better. But the other ones where it's just me kind of being myself talking to you guys, I'm going to. So if that bothers you, then just avoid those videos. Because my point of doing it is it's not to make people feel bad or guilt them about anything, right? The point of it is to make people, well, I don't really have much of a social life anymore, but over the course of my life, I have known people who didn't fit the binary, that were in my life. And that's a real thing. It's not some weird made-up conspiracy. They exist, man, and they always have existed. And they are us, right? And they deserve love and respect and inclusion. So why I do that is for normalization, right? It's for people to come to realize that, look, these people are people. They're our people, right? They're our siblings. And I feel very strongly about that. So, I don't know what to say. If that bothers you, then you've been warned, right? I'm not trying to be a prick to anybody. I'm actually trying to get it so that we can all be cooler to each other. That is, on my WC Postman channel, which is where I do vlog types. Yeah, see, I'm already getting speedy with my speech, aren't I? On my vlog channel, which is WC Postman, I talk a lot more about these sorts of things politically, and even religiously to a degree. But I call myself the atheist anarchist advocating agape, where agape is a Christian concept of profound compassion and love for your fellow humans. It's also completely in line with the concepts of compassion for your fellow humans that comes out of Buddhism. You know what I mean? It's common. It's a thing that's important for humans. Anyway, so there is that. Also, did I already mention the secret word thing? I haven't come up with one for this video yet because it's not until the end, right? But we're getting near the end, so. And, well, yeah, let me run through my mind. Is there something else that I need to be doing, talking about? I feel like I've said something I was going to talk about and said I'll talk about that later, and now I've forgotten about it. Equipment and that kind of thing. So it will be a while before I upgrade these mics, just because there's other gadgets I need to get for doing music. I have already upgraded my interface, and I think that will be what I use for probably several years to come, because it's the way I have it set up now is it has two mic preamps, which I use for these two mics, and they're just plugged in all the time, and I just put bags over the top of them to keep dust out of them. So I just leave them on the mic stands plugged in, right? They're condenser mics, so they require the 48 volt power to drive them. So I just turn that off and put them in the corner kind of thing. And then I have my keyboard. Well, it has other inputs that have no preamp hooked up to them. So I have that set up and there's 4 channels of that. So 2 of those are for my keyboard, which is always just plugged in. 2 channels 3 and 4, and my guitar is always plugged into channel 5. I just run it through a little pedal multi-effect thing by Digitech. It was really quite cheap, but I quite like a lot of the sounds that come out of it. And that's not to say that that's what I will always use for recording guitar, but that way, if I get a musical idea, it's good to go. You know what I mean? So I can just go, oh, wait a minute, that's a good idea. I can just go start working on it. I don't have to spend a whole lot of time setting things up and risk losing the notion that I had in my head. But I quite like Focusrite preamps. I mean, mine are not, the super high-end ones, but even the low-end ones work very, very effectively, I believe. So I'm very pleased with, using the affordable Focusrite interface. So that's not going to get improved for a while. But what is going to get improved, I'm thinking, well, there's some things I need to buy just because, I'm a human that needs to buy things. But if I have enough money left over from that, from YouTube, because that's really my only income right now is YouTube, which is really not enough to live on, but, well, whatever, I'm doing what I can to make things work. But if I have enough left over this time, I'm going to buy a new camera, like a webcam thing. And I'm going to get this thing called the Ozbot Tiny 2 Lite, because it's only like about $150 or so, which I think I'll be able to spare this month, hopefully. If not, then next month, I think, because I'll just set aside the money I can spare and then stack it up with next month. But I think I'll be able to do it this month. Anyway, it's a better camera than this. This is an old Logitech that's like I bought, pretty close to the beginning of the channel. Because when I first did it, I was just using this really tiny little laptop, and it didn't have a very good camera at all. But so this is just a very inexpensive Logitech thing. I mean, it's great for when I do Zoom calls or Facebook video chats or something like that. But I don't know. I think I could do better images for, whatever. But it also does things where it's better at focusing, autofocus, and that kind of thing, which this camera's not very good at. But it also does things like where you can do zoom, and it's got a gimbal, so it'll follow you. You know what I mean? So it can do facial recognition, and so like when I lean, it can do like subtle little, the camera can follow along. And I don't want to do it to some extreme extent where it gets, like people will get dizzy watching my videos, but I think having that kind of dynamic visual thing will, it's just a subtle thing, but I think it will improve the quality of my videos. And then the next one is I'm going to get better portable cameras, because the ones I have now are just these cheap little webcams that are, I've had for quite a while. That were, again, another gift from my dad for like my birthday or something. But they were also, the idea was that, well, he and I were going to do some projects together, and we kind of dropped the ball on that. But well, I got some cameras out of it anyway. But they're kind of inexpensive, cheap little webcams. But that's what I use for. Currently, that's what I use for the backgammon and stuff. But I think I might be able to use the Ozbot for doing those. I'll have to figure out, because I think it has a means where I can mount it to my little swivel ball joint thing that I put on the end of a mic stand. That's how I do the overhead shots. Anyway, so hopefully, I don't think my channel's ever going to be like super slick, Hollywood style kind of production or anything like that, because I'm not going to hire anybody else to edit my videos. It is tedious and difficult at times, but I like doing the work. You know what I mean? I'm making this as a human for other humans. So I like, investing that time and energy into doing it myself. So it's, it's going to get as good as I can do it, and that'll be the end of it. That's the same with all the tech stuff. I want to make subtle improvements that I think make the experience nice, but I'm not, you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense to you guys. But I also think I don't really want to go too much into the slick thing. I think part of the reason that my channel has any success is that I decided a long time ago to just sort of be myself and as open and genuine with you guys. So that means you're going to see my foibles. I'll probably, screw up and, say some stupid problematic thing now and again. And of course, I'll expect you guys to, jump on and say, hey, Bill, But see, I want the channel to be that way. I want it to be me as a human interacting with you guys as humans. That's what I'm really leaning into on the live stream. So, again, some more crass promotion for the live stream. I've talked about my own mental health and the fact that I'm on medication for it. I've talked about my degenerative disc disease. Not all the time, and it doesn't always get heavy, but there's been some times that it's been a good conversation about these topics. And sometimes people just, want to talk about issues or stuff that's troubling them. And I think it's just because they want to be able to say it, You don't have other people read it and, know about it. And then I can respond to it. And, I'm not some expert in anything that you guys need to, take my word as gospel about frickin' anything. But I have been on the planet for almost 60 years. And, well, I guess to put it simply, I've been around and I've done a few things. You know what I mean? My life has been very strange, sometimes extremely difficult. There's times I've had, more money than I was, I did not handle it properly. And so I have nothing to show for it. And then I've also, been so broke. Like right now I'm broke, but my dad's letting me stay here. So, this is permanent. I'm not going to leave the family home. We have sort of a setup that my plan is to be here, and die in that bed over there. But there's been times I've been so broke that I was forced to do couch surfing, lest I was homeless, So I've, like I said, I've been around, I've done a few things. Whether you find value in my insight or not, I'm going to offer it, right? That's part of the thing that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be, I like ASMR, which is why I make it. And I think I've got, my voice seems to be good for people, right? They enjoy it. They find it to be soothing and the like. So I have an innate sort of gift in that regard. So I think it's important to share it. And I think just because of my musical stuff, I think, I can bring some of my creativity and artistic nature. Because as a musician, I think of myself not so much as a guitarist. I actually, the first person I heard speak on this that made sense to me was Frank Zappa. One time in an interview said that, I'm not really a guitarist as much as I am a composer that uses a guitar and operates one, And so I kind of am like that, but even a little bit tangential, but very similar related, is I kind of think of myself as an artist that uses music. I don't know if that makes sense, but, and so I'm kind of really trying to, bring that kind of mentality, insight, whatever, into into this channel, what's going on. And so I hope to make things that, I will always make things that I at least enjoy to some degree. Because sometimes I don't enjoy my own voice, to be honest. But I've listened to my own voice, for years, having been in bands and that kind of thing. So I'm, it doesn't make me cringe or anything like that anymore, really. I suppose maybe once in a while, but yeah, I don't know. I can't think of the last time that happened. But, sometimes people just don't like hearing their own voice because what you hear when you speak resonates through your skull, etc. So what I experience auditorily is very different from, what you guys hear, right? I think we're all pretty aware of that. But anyway, back to the thing. So I want to make stuff that I think is worth making, and I want to offer it to you guys, right? I think I've told you guys about my fantasy is to get 1 million subscribers, 1 million unique subscribers across my 3 channels, which I don't think is too ambitious. It's only like 300,000 or so people per channel, so to speak. But if 10% of those people think that what I do is worth $1 a year, that's $100,000. You know what I mean? So there's my goal. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk to. I'm looking into how to maybe do YouTube memberships. Although I'm tentative about that, but I was invited by YouTube to join something they call the something boot camp. I don't remember. I got an email about it saying, "Oh, if you're interested, please register." So I thought, you know what? It's free. I'll register just to see what they have to say. If it can help me improve the channel, then I guess it's worth listening to. So that might be in the future. Currently, the only means of if you want to, give me money for, making me be able to stay alive and continue to make ASMR, is the thanks button on YouTube. But I am going to do my Patreon. I'm hoping to get that up in the next week or so. I mean, I actually I've logged in and I've set up an account with them, whatever, but I just haven't activated it or done anything with it, you know what I mean? Because I just haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. But I believe I have now, and it's just going to be like a tip jar. So if you want to do like a tip that, you commit to on some sort of regularly payment plan, I mean, I don't know if they do. I mean, I think I'd like to offer people, I think they probably do it. Well, I know they do it per month, but I'm wondering if they do it like per quarter or annually, you know what I mean? Because I want it to be as affordable as possible for everybody, right? I mean, my left-wing nature is that I want to provide my art to the world, but I do need to consider my own material existence. I see I'm getting fast again, aren't I? So my thinking is to use the busking model, right? So I'm making the ASMR and putting it out in the world, right? So I'm standing on the street corner playing my guitar with the case open, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. So if you think what I do is valuable to you, then, give me $1, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'm after. So, it may change, obviously, because, I reserve the right to change my mind about absolutely anything at absolutely any moment. If I get new information about a thing, then I can go, I should change my mind about that. I mean, you dig what I'm saying there, I hope. Anyway, I think, is there anything else? I think that's the end of it. Oh, I need to do the secret word. So this video, secret word, what's it going to be? I need to think of something. Okay, floppy disk. I don't know where that came from in my head. So I'm going to actually ask you to do, so it's like, here's a call to action. So the idea is that you try to be the first person who's watched all the way to the end, and then, put the secret word in the comments. So what I would like you to do is actually put the phrase, watch to the end for the secret word, floppy disk. And then if you're the first person to do that, I will pin you. So if you've noticed that comment, you don't need to put in the watch to the end for the secret word phrase, because obviously somebody's already done it, but you can. There's no harm in it. But the idea being is, this is clearly me trying to get people to want to watch to the end of the video so that I get better watch times, right? Because that's what YouTube likes. So I figured this is just a silly way for me to kind of play that game, right? So if you're willing to play the silly game, then just put in the phrase, watch to the end for the secret word, floppy disk. Right? Okay. Much love. Aloha, siblings.